Footsteps creep the hall stairs of a building at 4 Newry Street as officers reach an apartment door on the first floor. Inside are 3 people tied to each other, one of them holding a hand grenade. Screams of commotion are heard as police break through the door, and one of the individuals breaks free from the shoelace tying him to the others, escaping to the sound of an explosion that is heard all around the building by the news crews, officers, and crowd on the ground below, and by millions of Sky News viewers all around Greece. This is the explosive case of Matei Sorin. At around 7 p.m. on September 23rd, 1998, Sky TV station receives a call with a man demanding to speak live on air with young but highly regarded newsreader Nikos Evangelatos. After talking to news director Stamatis Malelis and confirming his identity as wanted fugitive Sorin Matei, he is connected through to Evangelatos by telephone and onto the main news program, which interrupts the regular flow of the program with the breaking news.
Πάρα πολύ εσπευσμένα το πρόγραμμα του Sky. Τρέξαμε σχεδόν μέχρι να φτάσουμε στο στούντιο. Έχουμε στη τηλεφωνική μας γραμμή, μας τηλεφώνησε πριν από λίγο ο καταζητούμενος Ρουμάνος, ο Ματέι Σορίν, ο οποίος είναι στην τηλεφωνική μας γραμμή τώρα. Κύριε Σορίν, καλησπέρα σας.
Καλησπέρα.
Πείτε μας το λόγο που μας τηλεφωνήσατε και το που βρίσκεστε.
Άκου να δεις. Μ' ακούς?
Σας ακούμε, ναι.
Την προηγούμενη φορά είχα πάρει να πούμε ένα κεράτα μπάτσο, να πούμε όμηρο. Ακούς?
Σας ακούμε. Θα ήθελα μόνο να είστε λίγο πιο συγκρατημένοι στις εκφράσεις.
Την προηγούμενη φορά σεβαστήκανε πολύ τη ζωή του, ναι, και ανοίξανε τον δρόμο και έφυγα. Τώρα σε αυτή την περίπτωση έχω να πούμε 4 ομήρους. Και έχω εγκλωβιστεί να πούμε σε ένα σπίτι, να μην συναχαρνώνουν από πάνω.
Sorin Matei first entered police radars in 1995 when he was arrested on several robbery and attempted murder charges, but managed to escape from the FLP-1 courts before his trial was conducted, only to be re-arrested shortly after and taken to Corfu prison. On the 10th of March 1996, Matei and other inmates escaped Corfu jail, only to be arrested again and taken to the hospital Georgios Giannamatas to escape from there, but is re-arrested a few days later and taken to Larissa prison, from which he once again escapes. On the 7th of May 1997, he is located and arrested at a police blockage, leading him to a stint in the psychiatric ward of Korydallos prison. In July 1998, he is ordered to be transferred to St. Stephanos Patras prison, but escapes from the Patras transfer department and returns to Athens while on the run. After the arrest of Matei's accomplice, Panagiotis Chalepa, tips lead to his whereabouts. On the 5th of September, police raid a house where Matei was residing, to be taken aback to find the fugitive expecting them, holding a handgun and 2 grenades. Matei takes police officer Thanasis Christologiannis hostage, and by car drives to the Athens-Lamia highway, and after several hours of driving around, he abandons the car and the officer, escaping by boarding a taxi to an unknown direction. After this incident, police locate Matei once more in Larissa, but he gets away once again after a shootout. After several inquiries, the police find Matei a few days later in Athens, but to prevent a fatal incident, wait for the right moment. Matei visited a friend, Penelope Athanasopoulou, on the 23rd of September, who lived on the ground floor of an apartment building on 4 Newry Street. In the presence of a prosecutor, special forces raid the building using a stun flash grenade and hit Matei with a gun handle, but he escapes via the canopy onto the first floor apartment. Inside the first floor apartment are Sultana Ginaki, 58, her 2 children, Evangelos Ginakis, 24, and Amalia Ginaki, 25, and Amalia's fiancé, Apostolos Makrios, 34. While Sultana tended to Matei's wounds, he ties his arm to Amalia and Amalia's other arm to her fiancé with his shoelaces. It is then, at 7 p.m, Matei contacts Sky TV shortly after his voice is heard all across TV screens, all around the country. Matei tells Evangelatos and the channel viewers he has 4 hostages.
Η αστυνομία πού είναι τώρα?
Από κάτω.
Τι σας λένε οι αστυνομικοί?
Ότι πέσανε να πούμε στο σπίτι, με κρατήσανε λίγο, με χτυπήσαν το κεφάλι με τα περίστροφα.
Και καταφέρατε και παρόλα αυτά να τους ξεφύγετε?
Παρόλα αυτά Δεν ξέρεις με ποιον έχουν μπλέξει.
He demands $500,000 and confesses that he is under the influence of narcotics.
Είμαι μαστουρωμένος τώρα.
Ναι.
Πρέπει να κάτσω να πούμε κάμποσες ώρες εδώ να ξεμαστουριάσω για να μπορώ να φύγω. Αλλιώς δεν μπορώ να πούμε.
Πότε κάνατε χρήση ναρκωτικών τελευταία φορά?
Τώρα πριν μισή ώρα.
Τι?
Ηρωίνη έκανα και δεν έκανε μαλακία. Δεν έχω δυνάμεις τώρα, κατάλαβες. Δεν μπορώ να κρατήσω και τη χειροβομβίδα καλά.
Until then, untrained mediator Evangelatos was the sole negotiator until Athens police director Theodoros Papafilis took over negotiations from the ground. Whilst at the same time communication between Matei and Evangelatos continued. 1 hour later at 8 p.m, Major General Theodoros Plakas arrives at the TV station to direct negotiations by phone, to which Matei, under the use of heroin, demands amphetamines.
Θα πετάξω ένα σκηνή, αμφιταμίνες να βάλουνε, γιατί να πούμε με παίρνει τάκλες από την πρέζα και αρχίζω και μου κλείνουν τα μάτια και να μου φύγει τη χειροβομβίδα το χέρι γιατί έχω πει πολύ πρέζα.
Police hatch a plan, and instead deliver sleeping pills to Matei.
Αμφιταμίνες έβαλες μέσα. Τώρα το ζητάω, πες να φέρουν. Βρε αμφιταμίνες με έχουν πιάσει να μην τα νεύρα μου. Έχω 4 ανθρώπους εδώ μέσα. Μια λάμψη θα δείτε και τίποτα άλλο. Μια λάθος κίνηση και μια λάμψη θα δείτε, τίποτα άλλο. Και κανένα κουτάλι θα φέρετε να μας μαζεύετε.
After the police's actions, communication between the police on the ground and Matei break down. But he continues communication with Evangelatos, who seems to keep him calm and talk.
Γιατί φτάσατε να βουτήξετε μέσα στην παρανομία?
Γιατί είναι μακρύ το χέρι μου.
Πώς ξεκινήσατε την πρώτη φορά να κάνετε μια ληστεία ή μια κλοπή? Και γιατί έχετε σκεφτεί συζητήσει με τον εαυτό σας γιατί είναι μακρύ το χέρι?
Κοίτα, μην περιμένεις να σου πω παραπονιάρικα πράγματα και μου η ζωή με έκανε έτσι.
Δεν θέλω να μου πείτε παραπονιάρικα. Θέλω να μου πείτε αυτά που σκέφτεστε.
Αυτά γίνανε, να πούμε ότι έγινε, να πούμε. Αφού να πούμε έχω χάσει πολλούς ανθρώπους στη ζωή μου, όλο να πούμε ψέματα στη ζωή, δεν γνώρισα και τίποτα ευτυχισμένο. Βαρέθηκα να πούμε και είπα να βάλω ένα τέλος, αλλά με όμορφο τέλος να τους αποδείξω ότι υπάρχουν και μάγκες, έλαβες, που έχουν ψυχή να πούμε.
What people didn't know was that Matei's criminal career began at a young age when his father, brother and sister all died, leaving Matei to steal to survive. During communication, Evangelatos also convinced Matei in releasing a hostage, 24-year-old Vangelis Ginakis, who also had learning difficulties. At around 9 p.m, Athanasios Vasilopoulos arrived on the scene to personally take charge of the negotiations. His first act was to interrogate Penelope Athanasopoulou, Matei's friend, who also was under the influence of heroin at the time, to determine if the grenade was real or not. Vasilopoulos believed that the grenade was fake based on her interrogation. Evangelatos also tried to determine if the grenade was real, communicating with Matei and hostage Amalia.
Θα ήθελα να μας δώσετε κάποιον από εκείνους που κρατά το Σωμήρος να μας μιλήσει.
Πάρε.
Ναι.
Τώρα πολλά πράγματα δεν μπορείτε να πείτε και το καταλαβαίνουμε.
Ναι.
Είστε και οι 4 καλά?
Όσο μπορεί να είναι κάποιος σε αυτή την κατάσταση.
Θέλω να πω ότι δεν
μας έχει πειράξει.
Δεν είναι κανείς τραυματισμένος, δεν είναι κανείς χτυπημένος.
Όχι.
Είστε όλοι
ναι.
σοκαρισμένοι, κατατρομαγμένοι.
Ακριβώς.
Υπάρχει όντως αυτή η χειροβομβίδα για την οποία γίνεται λόγος?
Ναι, την κρατάει στο χέρι του.
Απασφαλισμένη?
Ναι.
At 11 p.m, Matei decided to release Sultana in exchange for medicines. After Sultana leaves the building, police raid the apartment led by Vasilopoulos himself. Officers pull Makarios by cutting the laces that tied him to Amalia, while Matei caught Amalia putting a grenade in her shorts.
Κυρίες και κύριοι, αυτό που ακούτε είναι ο ήχος μέσα από το δωμάτιο που γίνεται ό,τι γίνεται αυτή την ώρα. Ευχόμαστε και ελπίζουμε και πιστεύουμε ότι είναι καλά.
ακουστεί ένα φοβερό θόρυβος, είναι σίγουρα που έπαιξε, γιατί ανοίγουνε γρήγορα οι δρόμοι, για να φύγουν και να περάσει ο Sorin Matei. Υπάρχουνε τραυματίες, Νίκο, κυρίες και κύριοι, δεν ξέρω αν υπάρχουν και τραυματίες αστυνομικοί, διότι χειροκροτούν.
Seriously injured, was evacuated to the Red Cross, the explosion nearly severing her in half from the waist down. Vasilopoulos was transferred to the 401 military hospital with a rupture in his left eardrum and facial injuries. Also taken to the Red Cross was Major General Georgakopoulos with serious injuries to his left eye, Yorgos Markopoulos with slight injuries, and Vasilopoulos' driver, Yorgos Palyouras, whose leg was amputated from the explosion. The last person to leave the apartment was Matei, with non-life-threatening injuries. He was rushed to the Red Cross, then to the General Hospital of Nikia, where the surgical director declared his condition was not at risk and was sent to the hospital at the Korivalos prison. Matei was in the state of suppression after receiving large amounts of sedatives and sleeping pills, enough to take down an elephant, as Dr. Ioannis Katras claimed. At 10:55 p.m, 26th of September 1998, Matei was found dead in his hospital bed due to drowning due to gastric fluid aspiration combined with prolonged sedation by Yannis Koutras, who blamed Nikia's state who allowed his transfer to prison. Malia Ginaki died from her injuries on the 9th of October 1998, with the entire political leadership at the time expressing its sorrow. Immediately after the operation, Vasilopoulos resigned as police head, taking full responsibility for the decision which he blamed on incorrect information of subordinates. He was suspended for a year on the grounds of involuntary manslaughter due to negligence. Prosecutors demanded the expulsion of all officers who participated in the operation. On the 8th of May 2000, all officers were expelled from the Athens Flood Council. The Ginaki family appealed the conviction, suggesting Vasilopoulos to only be indicted. The family also filed an action against the state, demanding 700 million drachmas. Yorgos Palyouras received 300,000 euros due to him being declared incapable of employment after his leg's amputation and retiring at age 39. Sky TV were also fined 50 million drachmas for the direct transmission of the house and Matei, eventually going defunct a few years later.